Chucky. I'm joking. I got the internet in a knickers in a twist at the moment. Talking about Ryan Cherki. But we're not talking about him today. Ange Postecoglou has been sacked from Tottenham Hotspur. Now, listen. I feel like a lot of people are indifferent about this one. You know what I'm saying? I think there's a bit of a 50-50 going on with this one. There's some people that are like, you know what, it's the right decision. There's some people that are upset about the decision. I'm kind of looking on Spurs, on the internet, about on what Spurs fans are talking about. Obviously, I've got a few Spurs fans friends as well, and it's been a mixed reaction for both. And in a way, do you know what it is for me? Like, I understand both sides. I actually understand both sides because, of course, you don't want a trophy to... Now, listen, of course, if you've been living on the rock, Ange's last game was against none other than Manchester United, and they beat us in the final 1-0, Brennan Johnson in the Europa League final. And obviously, Ange walks away with a title, but then he also walks away with Tottenham finishing, I believe, was it 17th, people? I think it might have been 17th. In the end, where did they finish? Yes, 17th in the Premier League. So across the border of the season, Tottenham have been absolutely disgraceful. No two words about it. They've been a disgrace. But then they walked away with a trophy. And when you look at Spurs and you look at everything around Spurs, you listen to everything that's spoken about Spurs. They're Spursy, which means they're bottlers. They never get it done. The banter about how long it's been since they won a trophy, how they're small, just neighbours to Arsenal. The only reason they're relevant is because they're Arsenal's neighbours, blah, 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 blah. So a trophy means a lot more to a football club like Spurs than it will to like a Man United, who I wanted Ten Hag gone when he won the FA Cup because of what you're used to, because of what the football club do generally, like generally in terms of Man United win trophies, you know, even though there was a drought during the Ole time, but Van Gaal won trophies, Mourinho won trophies, Ten Hag won trophies. So it's something that we're accustomed to, something that we're used to. Whereas Spurs is completely different. Spurs took the longest time to win a trophy, and they did not only win a trophy, they won a European trophy. Something that they are able to brag about, of course, as you know, champions of Europe, you'll never sing that. I ain't going to say who they're directing that to, but they are able to sing those songs, which they should have always been able to, really, because they won it in the 70s. But modern times, modern fans. So he brought home a European trophy after promising. He promised the world. Not even promised. He told the world, I always win things in my second season. They said, usually, he said, no, I always win things in my second season. And he did, and he delivered. And then they had the bus parade when they won and blah, blah. And he said the third season's better than the second season. So for me, it feels like he wanted to stay. So this is a boss call. It's not no mutual consent. This is a boss call made by Daniel Levy. And in a way, I understand it. I understand it because despite winning a trophy, which is amazing, the season that Spurs had, they lost double the amount of games they won. Guys, listen to what I just said. They lost double the amount of games they won. They won 11 games this season. They lost 22. Tottenham should never, ever, ever be putting down them type of stats on the board. Ever. And in a way, for me, it sets a precedent. Daniel Levy is setting a precedent that standards cannot drop to that level, regardless of a trophy. Thank you for the trophy. We're going to enjoy the moment. You're always going to be in history. You can come back at any time you want. You can come back. But the standards of this football club cannot be on image saying that we stuck with a manager that finished 17th, especially when there's good managers around in the game. This Areola, There's Areola at Bournemouth. There's Thomas Frank at Brentford. There's Marcus Silva at Fulham. There's some good managers in the Premier League. Obviously, they've already had Nuno. They're not going to get Emery and stuff. But there's some good level managers in the Premier League. And not only in the Premier League, around world football. So Tottenham probably don't want to miss this opportunity, miss this boat. Because I said it for Manchester United. Heads must roll. Heads must get chopped. The head of the snake must get chopped if you've had a season like that, because you cannot be seen to be getting away with such poor level of standards. And I'm sure the players will look at it and be like, do you know what? Thank you for that night. We're always going to be grateful to you. Some people, that might be the only trophy of their career, the only European trophy especially. They're going to love it. They're going to say thank you, but they need a new voice. Now, on Tottenham's side, on Ange Postecoglu's side, I think he can walk away like this. Well, I tried my best. I had injuries. I had adversity. And I brought home a trophy. And now you guys want to sack me? Say no more. Say no more. I think he can walk away like that. If I'm Ange, I'm walking away from this. I'm not mad. As much as I know he probably wants to stay, as he said from his the tour and the bus parade. But you're walking away in a better position than any manager has walked away in my whole lifetime. My whole lifetime. In my whole lifetime, I've seen Spurs win one trophy with one day Ramos and then it was Carabao Cup. He walked away in disgrace. And at that time, Spurs probably still thought, oh, we can be a cup team. We can win something. Mourinho walked away by a cup final. And he still to this day says, hey, I could have won that. And he walks away. He feels good. His chest is high. His chest is pumped out. But you look at the way Nuno left the football club. You look at the way Pochettino left the football club. You look at the way Tim Sherwood and these type of gaffers left the football club. Villas-Boas. I don't want to say Poch left in a disgrace, but it was in a way, it was like, yeah, like, in the end, you kind of flopped. In the end, you didn't win nothing. Ange walks away with his head held high. But I still look at them season statistics. 64 goals scored, 65 conceded. -1 goal difference. 22 losses, 1 win in 11. That's just not good enough. Let me know in the comments, do you think he has an excuse for the injuries? He did have injuries this season. There was periods where Romero weren't there, Van de Ven, Udogie wasn't there, Maddison was out. Who else was out? Bro, a lot of their team were depleted. There was points where they were playing Archie Gray centre half and Emerson, I think, at one point. So Spurs have suffered. They brought in Danso in the January transfer windows. That's not enough. So Spurs have had injuries. Me personally, I like Ange. Like, in terms of a character, I like him as a person. I think he's a good manager. I do think he realized too late that he can tinker his system. You can have the same system, but you can tinker things within it. And I don't think Ange ever wanted to do that. And I also have this issue with Ruben Amorim. You guys know my opinion on that. You have opportunities to tinker it. Don't just watch your team suffer. Don't just watch your team get battered. Don't just watch the high line get penetrated every single second. Sometimes in this match, just say, do you know what? Oof, they've got our number. Your boys just sit back, maybe hit on the counter, or we're going to do this. I'm going to switch it here. I'm going to do little things to make a difference. I think Ange often just sat there and let it happen and stayed with, this is the way we're going to play, mate. And I think too many managers today have that mentality and it's killing them. It's killing them. There's nothing wrong with switching it up at times. There's nothing wrong with trying to find the best solution to win a football game within the game. I think managers only want to make brave calls in terms of switching things up, in terms of being a little bit more innovative in mid-game. I think they only want to do that pre-game. Sometimes you'll have a game, you'll be like, oh, why is this guy here? Why is this guy playing here? Or then you'll see it play out. But in the moment, 50 minutes on the clock, this team have had 3 chances. They're knocking on the door. They're clearly going to score soon. And you don't change anything. Or you don't find a way to maximize your players for them to go and win that game because of your system, because of your style, because that's how you are. For me, there's a fine line between, I don't know what to say. There's a fine line between stubborn and, I don't know what the word is, patient or sensible, or I don't know what the word is, but it's stubbornness for me that a lot of these managers are showing. Ruben Amorim's, Ange, it's stubbornness. We know that you want to play this system. We know you want to play this way. You need signings. You probably don't want to mess up the team's brain. So by the time you want to get to the final form, they're familiar with what you play with. But I'm not saying for a whole year change it. But for some games, you're going to have to change it. Oh, shit, we're having a terrible season. Boom. Banks are 4. Boom. We need to get up, climb up the table. But I think managers nowadays, it's like they're auditioning for Barcelona. They're auditioning for Real Madrid. They're auditioning for the top jobs. I saw Ange was linked with Man City last season. You saw Company go from there to Bayern. I think managers are now just doing what makes them look good. So if we go down, if we get relegated, if we don't get results, but I still played a pretty way. Oh, didn't you see how attractive my football was? Oh, yeah, no, it was... I don't think you can be doing that, man. I don't think you can be doing that. I see it as stubbornness, and I think ultimately Tottenham probably made the right decision. It feels like a decision from a big club. It feels like what big clubs should be doing. Standards cannot fail, cannot drop. Thank you for the trophy, but standards cannot drop. And you know what? I respect Daniel Levy for that, and Enoch or whoever made that decision, because I think the same decision should have happened at Man United. However, Ange had 2 years, full years. Do I think their summer window was good enough? No. Archie Gray, Bergval, Solanke. They brought in one other, I think another teenager. I can't remember who it was. And it's like, I think they brought back Timo Werner. That's not good enough. That's not good enough. When you consider that Spurs last season, let me check where they finished. Spurs finished 5th last season. 5th. And they back it up with Solanke, Bergval, Archie Gray, Timo Werner, and I can't remember the other name. You can see how much a summer window can affect a team. You can see what it done to Chelsea in terms of bringing in loads of players. You can see what it done to Arsenal in terms of not bringing in enough. They brought in Raheem Sterling, Moreno, and Calafiori, but that wasn't enough. And you see how much that stifled Arsenal this season. You also see how continuity can help, like a Liverpool, but they had a completely change of voice. I don't think this is a bad Spurs side. I don't think it's a bad Spurs side at all. They should have been doing much better than they did. As I said, I like Ange. Maybe they should have kept him. Maybe they shouldn't. Time will tell. But when you look at the Spurs team, Bentancur, Archie Gray, Pape Sarr, Van de Ven, Romero, Porro, Vicario, Udoji, Brennan Johnson, Tell, who's probably going to go back. That's a good team. And that's not mentioning Madders. That's not mentioning Kulusevski. They have a good team. And they should never, ever, ever be 17th. It's just absolute madness. However, it's happened. I think Ange's record in the Premier League, I'm just getting it up now. When you look at how many games Spurs have lost in the last 2 years. Last season, Spurs lost 12 games. This season, they've lost 22. That means Spurs have lost 34 games under Ange Postecoglou in 2 seasons. Spurs have nearly lost a whole season, a whole calendar season of games under Ange in 2 seasons. That is incredible. 34 losses in 2 seasons. You're going to have to bite the dust. You're going to have to... You're going to have to bite. There's nothing you could do in that situation. I can't even lie. Reading it out like that makes it sound crazy. Spurs are 4 games off. Let me see with Man United, actually. Let's see United. United lost 14 games last season. And United lost 18 games this season. We're almost there too, bruv. We're almost there. Wait, hold on. We're basically there as well. We're basically there. Man United lost 14. 32. We're just 2 off. But that is insane, guys. When you listen to these statistics, look, Spurs have done the right thing probably in the end. If they do go and get a Thomas Frank, I think he's going to fly them up the table immediately. I'm a fan of him, but just give us Mbumu in that meantime. Don't try and take him to Spurs. And we good over here. We good. But guys, you guys have sent me some questions. As I said, 30k Q&A. I will be doing a video to that probably tonight, and I'll probably put it out tomorrow or something. 30k Q&A, because I got to edit the questions into the video, so I ain't really got time for that right now. Go and comment on my community post, 30k Q&A. And if you guys didn't watch the playoffs with me yesterday, we lost game 1, but come and join me on Playback. Go and follow my Playback, playback.tv/culture. And we will be doing watch-alongs for the NBA Finals, 1:30 on Sunday. Man, guys, hit the likes, share, subscribe, turn your notifications on. It's a beautiful day right now. I'm going to go and enjoy. It's your boy, CultureCams. Peace!